So that conscious experience has been formed, because I think that's what's worth protecting, because that's when we look to see when somebody's dead. So that's what we should look to see when somebody's alive.
So are you anti-abortion after 20 or 24 weeks?
Yeah, after 20 to 24 weeks.
And all abortions, anti-all abortions after 20 to 24 weeks?
With the obvious exceptions of like ectopic pregnancies or life of the mother or something like that being threatened, yeah. Yeah. Easy, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And your positions on...
we share a position, but Kristen, I'm sure will have her way she wants to describe it. I think that all humans have human rights.
That's right.
By nature of being a human, you are a member of the human family. And so any member of the human family, and this is actually the preamble of the Declaration on Universal Human Rights by the United Nations. So for those that think they have any authority, I don't know if you do, Destiny, they say that all members of the human family deserve to be protected and treated by the law as persons. Mm-hmm. And so if you're a member of the human family, you have human rights. And we know when you become a member of the human family, it's at the moment of fertilization. It's very clear. A single cell embryo comes into existence. And so I believe human rights for all humans. And I also want to build a society of love and justice. And the way to do that is to treat people equally under the law and to protect the most vulnerable, especially children. Children deserve more protection actually than adults because they are defenseless. And so we should actually go out of our way to do what we can to protect children and never commit homicide against them. So that's my pro-life position.
Cool.
Yeah, I share Lali's position. I'm against the strong being able to choose whether or not the weak or the vulnerable get to live or die based on someone else's, perception of them or their convenience factor to another person. I think that's a very slippery slope, and I actually think the position you represented is a very dangerous one, because what you're saying is you have to be not only a member of our species in order to be a person with rights, the very basic right to life, but you have to be a person plus. And it's a very exclusionatory class of what you're doing. You're excluding a whole group of human beings. So I guess my question is, are there other human beings you would exclude that you don't view Destiny as persons?
Not for this debate. No, I'm just kidding. Here's a question, actually. Let me respond to your question with a question. You guys say that humans are protected. Do you agree with that humans ought to be protected, or humans are given?
More specifically, humans have human rights. So protection can mean different things. But
humans have human rights.
The fundamental human right is the right to not be killed.
Okay.
It's the right to be protected against the right to life. And so that's why I don't have the right to commit homicide against you, Destiny, or against you, Kristen, or against you, Brian, and certainly not against a preborn developing child. Okay. And but I have a question for you too, but I know we all have questions for each other, but I'll let you.
Sure, because I'm going to keep going on this. I don't believe that you believe in that statement. That humans have a right to life. So my next question would be, I show you a human who's been dead for 10 days. The corpse is still a human. We agree, right?
I think to clarify, a right to life meaning a right to not be killed, not a right not to be killed.
It's fundamentally different, abortion and end of life care. I watched one of your debates this morning when I was on the plane coming here, and I found it interesting because you kept using this end of life and argument. You fundamentally have a right not to be killed. Abortion is an active killing. It's an active dismemberment. It's actually a violent ending for another human being. So morally, that act of abortion is much different than someone who maybe is brain dead, or we're not sure their brain activity that's been in a hospital for 3 months. That's a much different position to take, because you're not actively killing that person. You may say we have to withdraw life support for this reason, or the doctor may say we have this reason to believe this person is brain dead, but you're not actively killing. You don't say, well, they're going to die, so I'm going to take a gun and put it through the person's head. We would not say that. We would say we might withdraw life support and see if the person can sustain life on his or her own, but we're not going to actively dismember them in the process or violently kill them in the process. But that's exactly what abortion is. It's not just easily withdrawing life support. It's actively going into a womb where there's a developing human being that biologist tells us is a unique, whole, living human being that's never existed before and will never exist again, and it's actively killing them.
Okay, I don't believe that you believe in that argument. If I were to show you that all abortions could be done by just extracting the baby and then leaving it on the table and not actively killing it, but just removing it from the mother's life support and seeing what happens, would you be okay with that?
That is actively killing
That
it.
is killing it.
Because
How is that actively killing any more than
because
pulling
children,
the plug on
Destiny,
somebody?
you know this, you're a parent. Children are dependent on their parents. A newborn is dependent on his or her parents, and
Yeah.
a preborn child is dependent on his or her mother.
I understand. I'm just challenging the words we're using here, the difference between active and passive killing.
The dependency of a child doesn't give their parents or anyone else the right to kill that child.
Sure. I never said as much. I was challenging.
Well, you do say as much, I think, because I think your position is if that dependent child before the arbitrary line of 20 to 24 weeks is in any way unwanted, inconvenient, just for whatever reason, abortion is chosen for that child, then you are okay with a parent killing their child.
Depends on what video games the child plays. No, the only thing I'm trying to figure out right now is
But are you okay with that? Because I think that was what you said earlier.
I don't know what. So right now I'm just trying to figure out what your position is. So
we're trying to figure out your position too. So
I already get my position with crystal clear.
But it actually wasn't very unclear.
Yeah.
That wasn't actually clear, Destiny, because when
Okay, wait, hold on, wait, hold on. Just because I got cut off like 7 times and I haven't responded. So just to be very clear, to give you an idea of like what I'm trying to establish right now, when I have conversations with people that are pro-life, there's a lot of dancing between words that I think deserve distinct definitions. Human, I think, is distinctly different from person. I think it's distinctly different from life. I think it's distinctly different from child. But all of these things, when we're talking pro-life, tend to just get thrown together. Like, oh, well, we should defend all human people and children are worthy of life. And a lot of these statements are almost begging the question. Obviously, anything that you would consider a child deserves rights to life, right? But that's what's
pro-lifers believe human beings are persons.
Yeah.
What you're arguing is that some human beings don't deserve personhood rights.
But what I'm trying
which
to do,
throughout history, Destiny, has always proved to be a very dangerous position that you're taking.
Yeah, I understand the analogies of slavery we're trying to draw here, but what I'm just trying to figure out is because...
But can you respond to that? Because I think let's just take it one step at a time, because
I think fundamentally there's a difference between saying a fetus hasn't developed the cognitive parts yet to recognize it as living versus saying black people and white people are different types of things.
Let's address consciousness for a minute, because my understanding is you're saying...
Okay, if you want, hold on real quick. If you want, we can leave to my position if you want. I still have no idea what you guys believe, but we can leave for mine if you want.
Well, I'll just say it again.
I mean, we can say it slower for you.
Yeah.
What I heard you say is that like children should have rights and shouldn't be killed. Which I think we all agree.
Any human life has the right to not be killed.
Yeah.
But then you also try to draw, when you said not be killed, you try to draw a distinction between like active and passively killing.
No, you cannot.
She did. Because she said there was a difference between pulling the plug on grandpa versus actively killing.
The intentional destruction of an innocent human life is
sure.
Is
but I was saying that like
opposed.
unplugging grandpa would be kind of like unplugging a baby. You're disconnecting both from a life support thing.
No, because a baby belongs, a preborn baby belongs before development.
He or she's right where
born
she's
belongs
supposed to be.
in his or her mother's womb.
Sure, I understand, but
So
that means
it's
there's probably ways.
It's a natural habitat.
Sure, that's a fundamentally different thing. There's probably ways to passively kill children that we would agree is also wrong. Just because you're actively versus passively doing something,
well,
that's not going to be...
I think intention matters too.
Yeah.
Sure, it absolutely can be. Yeah, I agree. But that's important to qualify. We can't just say like passively killing somebody is fundamentally different from actively killing somebody. Therefore, one is ascribed like moral weight and the other isn't. Because if you starve a child to death, that's passive, but that's also bad.
I think there's a few other things you have to get into and what you mean by passive or active.
Sure, I agree. That's what I'm trying to get into. But you can ask me questions if you want. I'll just
okay.
pause.
I do have a question about consciousness.
Yeah,
because my understanding is that's your big line. That if there's suddenly consciousness, then they are a person. They're not just a human, but they're also a person. And first, to clarify, you think it's okay for some humans to be the victims of homicide? Do you think it's okay to commit homicide against a human, just not a person?
I mean, I would take issue with homicide because that's a really loaded term, but I would say that you can end the life of human beings that no longer have the capacity to deploy consciousness.
So if I'm asleep and I'm unconscious, it's okay to kill me?
That's why I said capacity to deploy consciousness. I can wake you up when you're sleeping.
Like the fetus has capacity.
No, a fetus that doesn't have the necessary brain parts has no capacity for consciousness.
If you give that child time, that child innately has capacity.
Wait, you said 20 to 24 weeks. What about children?
Hold on.
Wait. Have REM cycle sleep at 11 weeks.
Wait. Just what you said there. Give the child time implies that it's not there yet.
Give me time to wake up.
Do you think that a seed and a tree are the same thing?
You're making a wrong equivalency.
I'm not making a wrong equivalency.
You are,
I'm saying that a seed given enough time will grow into a tree. But when you use the word, this thing will become this thing, the implication there is your intuition pumping all the rights that this thing has for saying this will become
Incorrect.
this.
Incorrect. A child in the womb, a human being, has the capacity for consciousness.
No, it doesn't.
They might not have developed that capacity.
That means they don't have the capacity
They might not have developed that capacity yet.
Just one microphone at a time, please. Just let everyone finish.
Sorry, they might not have developed the capacity yet. Similarly, if someone is in a coma or unconscious, they're not actively, that capacity is not activated yet. But if you don't interrupt the life of that child, if you don't kill that child will absolutely be conscious in just develop consciousness in just a few weeks.
And that's the difference between the question you were asking me earlier when you tried to trip me up about the end of life.
You guys are the ones trying to trip me up.
No,
I'm trying to take notes
to clarify. You have a very murky position because you said between 20 to 24 weeks, I believe a child has rights. Which one is it if you're the one making the